So, welcome back to the video series, Debian App Package Management and Hosting. In the previous video, we have created our script till here, we were checking the architecture of the project folder. Now, we are going to make a function, not one function. We are going to make different function for different processors so that we can create different def files for each of the processors, right? Suppose suppose if you have a processor like arch 64. Arch 64 means it's arch and 64-bit. Okay, so you will definitely mention that in the control file. At the architecture, you will provide here arch 64. Then we can get using this cat Debian control and this architecture. You will get the architecture as arch 64. Then you have to make a def file with this name. Okay, with this name. So we will create our def file we have a project name, suppose calculator, and it is an arch 64 type. So we will make calculator dot arch 64 dot dev file. Sorry, dot dev file. Like, the structure of our dev file would be like that. Okay, now if it is actually all, if you will mention here all, if you will mention in the control, if you will mention all, architecture is equal to all, then we have to create dep packages for all the processes separately. Like, first we have to create for arch 64, then ARM, then x86 64, i6 86. We have to create for all separately. We have to create actually the five dep packages if there is all. Okay, and then, and if there is only arch 64 is mentioned in the control file, you have mentioned arch 64, then there will be only one dev file for that, and that would be arch 64. Okay, but if it is all, then we have to create five. Okay, so let me make it full screen. Let's make a function. First let me give some space so that it would be clear to you. And also let me zoom a little bit. Control S, Control Q. Let me zoom first and then go inside this. Okay. Now, if I go here, let me create function name. First, I will create arch 64. Let me create arch 64. I'm creating the function in capital name. No problem. Okay. For arch 64, what we will do, we will create the dev file first. So the command to create dev is dev dpkg dev -b, and then we have to give here the directory name, that directory having the Debian. So from here, we will create some cases, conditional statements, like if it is if architecture is equal to that, then we will run that function. Okay, something like that. Okay, so we will definitely pass the value of architecture. This architecture we will definitely pass into that function. So suppose we got that here, architecture. I will use arch, sorry, architecture only. Architecture, I can use different variables. Let me use arg1 here. No problem. Arg1 is equal to, what's this, $1, the value that would be provided here. Then we will here run arg1. R1, or simply you can do one thing, that you can just do this only. There is no need of variable. You can simply just pass this. Okay, just simply pass this. Yes. Okay. Now it will create a dev package. It will create a dev package with a name that is this. Like in the $1, if it is value like calculator, right? Then it will create calculator.dev file. Calculator.dev file. But the architecture is of uh, arch 64, right? The architecture is arc64 also. Here we are not going to provide the architecture, because if it is running the arc64 folder, arc64 function, then the architecture definitely is arc64 only, right? So we will pass here the name of the project folder, right? So the $1 is actually the name of the project folder. Okay. So we will rename this as $1. I can use this $1 dot dev, and we will rename this because by this command this dev file will be generated, but we have to rename this as different, with a different name. Okay, we have to rename this with different name so that it can be recognized that it is of art64 type dev file. Okay, so we will do something like that. We will rename it like the name, first name will be same, and then we will give here dot and then arch 64 and then dot dev. So it is renamed now. Now we will move it into a folder. And which folder we are going to move? We are definitely going to move it inside this all dev files. So we will move mv minus v, and then this 1 dot art64 dot dev into this folder. Which folder was that? I'm going to copy its name. Sorry, I can't copy here. All dev files. Okay. Now, suppose if this folder is not here, actually in the current directory, if this folder is not there, then what will happen is this will be renamed as this name, right? So we don't want this. We want to move this dev file into this folder, as we have to collect all the dev files into a single folder, right? Okay. So what we can do is we can create a folder here. Let me remove this folder also. If it folder already existed here, then we have to remove this all dev files. And then if it is not there, and it's still if it is actually not there and still we are removing it, it will definitely going to throw some error. Then we will going to dump into this dev, sorry, dev slash null, and 2 is greater than and 1. You may definitely know about this. I've already taught in the bash series. Also, I'm going to make mkdir and then all dev files. Okay. So if you see here, there is no such file, and if I run this, then you can see here this folder is created. So fine. Uh, we can say before running this function, before running these all the things, this folder will definitely will be there. Okay, means it will be created, so there will be no such any problem for this. Now we will create for different and different processors. So we have to write the same thing, just we have to change the name. This is not working here. Okay, we have to write full code only. Function, then I'm going to write for ARM, and then here we will do dpkg minus dev and then b and then $1. The similar thing, mv $1 dot dev file. This file we have to rename into, the first name would be same, and then second one would be arm and then dot dev. Okay, now we have to move this into this all dev files, and maybe $1 dot, sorry, 1 dot arm 1 dot uh, 1 dot arm dot dev into all dev files. Okay, we have moved this. Now we have to close this function. Okay, one more thing that is important, like okay, we will create all the other three functions, but before that, one more thing that we need to do, that is we have to add permissions we have to add permission in the Debian folder, right? In the second, maybe the second video, we have studied that for control file or Debian folder, you can say Debian folder, and the post inst and pre-inst files, they all have some permission, special permission, right? So we have to do that in this script also, right? So let's do it. Let's create a function. Let's create a function name as function add permission. Add permission. Then here what we will do is we will do like chmod plus x and then 0. What was the permissions actually? Let me get it from here. We have permissions like 0755 for the Debian folder, right? For the Debian we have this. Let me get this only. You can use this also. The same thing that we are going to do. Control C, and then here I'm going to paste it. Control V. Okay. So this is fine. And we can use this. 0755 for Debian, and this 0555 for the post and the pre-inst if they are existing. Like this if statement is actually checking this folder is there or not, means this file is there or not. If this file is not there, then this will become false and this command will not run. Okay, suppose you don't have created any postint or pre-inst file inside the Debian folder, then these two permission will not added because there is no such file. So where to add this permission? Nowhere. Okay, but inside the Debian we have to add this permission, right? So this will run as 0. Okay, okay. So we have to run in all the function, right? In all the function we have to run this. 1 minute. There is indentation mistake. I will give some indentation here. Okay. Now we have to call this add permission, and then I have to give argument $1, means $1 is actually the project file that we have got here. By from here, from the main we will get the project file name, and we will add permission in that Debian. We will add permission in the Debian, and we will create the dev file and store in all dev files. Okay. So similarly, you can do here also add permission $1. Okay. And we have to create for i660 i636. We have to create for i686. You can see here I have created i686 also, and x8664. For all you have to create the function, right? So let us create function i686, and then have to give here add permissions, then similarly $1, and then we will make dpkg. Let me do this all, and then after completion I will meet you. So now you can see here I have created functions for i686 also, and then x64 64, 8 x86 64 also. Okay, so here you can see the similar thing is here. Okay, all are similar only, just we have added this respective names for the div files. Okay, now we have to create a function for all type. Like if you have mentioned, let me show you. If you have mentioned uh, all in the architecture, then what you have to do, you have to do function. Let me create the function all, and inside that what I'm going to do is first I will add permission and then $1. That is fine. Now we are going to make a dev package with the all name, with the name as all. So let me do that. Dpkg minus dev, then v, and then $1, of course. Okay, so it will create a dev package, then we will rename it as, we will rename is at $1 $1 dot dev, sorry dev, and we will rename is at $1 dot all dot dev, right? So this is how we created all other, and we will also move this inside that all dev files one dot all dot dev, and we will move it inside that all dev files. This is actually folder, all dev files folder. Inside that folder we will move this also. Now we have to create for all other processor also, because this supports all the processor. So we have to create the same dev packages for the other also. So for that we have to change, for that we have to change this all to each of the processes one by one, and we have to create respective dev packages also one by one. So how can we change this value from script? We can use sed command. Like if you do cat control, and then uh, if you do sed minus minus e, and then you use expression like s, and then arch, sorry, here I want to change this whole line, right? Like if I change this just all, then there may be some other line in description or anything else, and that would match this all, and the changes would apply everywhere. But I don't want that, so I want to change this whole line. So I will just put this whole line here, you can see, and then change with this arch64, arch64. Suppose if I want to change this with arch64, then we have to run this. Okay, you have to put this also, and then G. Now you can see here this line is changed. R64 is there. So similarly we can do this also. If you want to save the changes, like we are just printing it, we are not saving into the file. If you do control cat control, then you can see it's still all only, right? If you want to make it change it, then you have to do this. You just use sed, and then instead of e flag you have to I and the same expression that you have used it, and then control. If you do this, and if you do cat control, then you will see that it's change it, actually is change it. So if it is all, then we have to change, and then we have to create the dev file. Okay, so let's do that. Sed, we will first change it into uh, we will first we will first change it into arch64. Okay, so sed I our project folder slash debian slash control, and inside that we have to run the expression also first. This is uh, as substitute arch64 all to arch, yeah, and here you have to substitute architecture all to architecture arch 64. Okay, now this will be changed, and what we will do is we will call this arch64 function, and we will pass the project here. Okay, we will pass the project here. Then what will happen is, and it will create the arch64 type dev file using this function. Like it will add the permission again, and it will create a dev package again, and it will name it as this and move into that. So it will create arc64 type, right? Now after this, we have to change this arc64 into ARM, and then we will call the ARM function, and we will pass the same. Okay, so similarly we can do sed minus I, and then as substitute, we will substitute arc64 to ARM, because previously we have done arc64, so here we have to use arc64 also, right? And then, and this is fine. Also here you have to do this G. This is expression, and we have to provide, and dollar is missing here, $1, and then inside that we have Debian, and then control. We are changing this, right? And then we will call the ARM, and we will pass here the project. And similarly we will do for the other also, like x8664 and then i686. So let me write that and I will meet you after that. So I have written, for all the processors, like for all the architecture, I have written this. You can see here, in the all, what I did, I converted this all type project into a dev file, and then stored into all dev files. And then I just changed the architecture all to arc64, and then passed the project name into the arc64 type function. And then it created the arc64 type dev package and stored in all dev files. And similarly I did for all ARM x64, x86 64 also, and i686. And at the last, I changed the value of architecture to all back again, like it was written all at the initial, right? So I changed it to all. After doing all the thing, I changed it back it to all. Okay, so our all functions are ready now. Now what we have to do is, inside the main function we have to call all these function as per the architecture. So what we will do is, we will check the architecture type, like case architecture. We will use case only, case architecture n. If architecture is all, if architecture is all, then what it will do is, we will what we will do is, we will call all, and then I will pass this value I. And what is I? Actually the project name, right? So we have passed this inside that. Okay. Now, if also we have to provide here this double semicolon. Then uh, if case is arch 64, then also I would recommend you to use this. I would recommend you to use this single quote. Okay. Now, if it is this, then we will call this arc64, and then pass the value, then this, then ARM, then we will do ARM, and then pass the value again. Now, if it is x8664, then of course we will call this capital 1 function, capital X86 underscore 64, and then we will pass the value. Now, if it is written different type processor, because we support only these types of only, right? Okay, one more is there, i686, then we will call this i686, and then pass the value. Okay. Now, if any other thing is there, then we will use this asterisk sign. This represent any other value than these all we have defined. So we will print here a message, print f this architecture is not supported by our script. And then what we will do, we will exit. with one, and then we have to use this double semicolon, then ESAC. So this our case statement is done. So it will do all the things that is called here. Okay, now after all the dev packages created, suppose we have created all the dev packages inside that, then what we have to do is we have to run. Let me go back. We have to run this dev apt repo.py file. If I do ls, you can see here we have to run this dev app repo.py file, and inside this input we have to give input as this folder, all dev files, and then output as this, and code name, branch, and distro we have to give, right? So let's configure this also. uh, hi, vi build.sh. Before that, let us check. Uh, let us check if it is working or not. Like, uh, like till where we have written the code, if it is working or not, right? So let me check if there is anything. ls all files. No, there is nothing. There is nothing inside this all dev files. Okay, so we are going to run this build.sh. Build.sh. I'm going to run this. Let me. Okay, bash build.sh. Okay, we can run it here. Auto pair enabled. Okay, yeah, continue. So everything seems fine. Yeah, everything is fine here. Right? Let's control Q bash. If I run this, it created. You can see here it only called this R64 type because we have mentioned the R64, and then if I do ls all dev files, you can see here there is one dev file that is R64 type. Now let me change the name. If I do cd, uh, if I go here, not in this calculator, and then Debian, and inside that control, sorry, we have to change that sed I, and if I do changes arc64, sorry, architecture, or R64, R64 to all. If I change it to all and then do G in the control, oh sorry, then you can see inside the control it's all now, right? So let's go back again, and let me remove this all dev files using rm-rf command, then remove it. Okay, so let us run this build.sh again, and you can see it's created all of the dev files. If I do ls all dev files, you can see all types of dev files are created, like R64, all, ARM, i686. One more thing is here. X8664 is not moved inside this. So why it is not moved? Let's check. Vi view.sh. If you see here inside this, okay, we don't have used here dollar sign. So we have to use dollar here, right? $1. Right. This is fine now. If I run this again, so you can see everything is moved inside this. Fine. So we can see all the dev files are created here. Now, what do we do after creating the dev files? We just run this script, right? Suppose this script never existed here. Suppose this script is not here, then what you will do? So you can see, if I show you here, this video would go too long. So must have patience for learning this. Okay, if I show you here apt repo generator, this is one. You can see here, this is here. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to download this during the runtime. During runtime we are going to download this. Okay, so just go on raw and then control C, just copy this link, then we are going to download it vi view.sh. So in the main function, after doing all this, after this ESCC here, we have to write everything in the in this if block only, right? So inside this, what we are going to do is we are going to download our that file. So we will check if minus f, if this file is there or not, like the similar way that we have used it here, minus f. Okay, if there is this file, then we will run this. Okay, so similarly we will check if this file is not there. I will use here exclamation, means the file is not there. Which file? Dev apt repo dot py. Okay, let me show you. If I do ls dev apt repo dot py, this file is not there. If this file is not here, then what it will do is, also let me put it inside single quote, then run a command that is wget minus q for silent, and then paste the link. Okay, so it will download this, file. Okay, okay, then file, so it will download this in the current directory. Okay, now what we are going to do is, so this is downloaded now. Suppose this is downloaded, so what we have to do is, after downloading this, what we have to do, we have to run this, right? So what are the things that we have to provide to this? If I do python python you can see here we have to provide input file, then the repository name, the output repository name, and then the suite name. You can say suite name, or you can say your uh, just the name that you provide here, that code name. You can see here, you have to provide here the code name and then branch. So the similar thing that we are going to do. Okay, we are going to do that. We have to provide here, we have to do here architecture, sorry, not. So we have to run here python, and then dev apt, also we are going to use python 3, python dev apt repo dot py. Okay, and we are going to give here the first argument as output. Okay, that was here the variable that we saved here. You can see here we have to use the same output, code name, branch, this two same thing that we have to give. So here we have to give output, and then after this output, what we have to give? Code name, and after this we have to give not distro, we have to give branch. Okay, branch. Okay, so So where we have to give that distro name, not here. We don't have to give the distro name here. Okay, distro name we will give somewhere else. One more thing here, all dev files. You have to give the first argument all dev files, because and this only we have all the dev packages, right? And this will give into the output, and then code name branch. You can see here. Uh, you can see here. This is the input, that is this one, and then output, that is this one, in BHUTUU IT, and then main. Same thing we have did here, right? This is input, output, code name, and then branch. Fine. Now we have to change the distro name. Like if you are making it for Linux, Kali Linux or something else, then you will definitely mm, wanted to change. You will definitely need to change this. You will definitely need to change this. Right? If you do, if you do cat release, you see release, then you can see here one thing, that is terms. So you will definitely need to change this code name, right? You will definitely change this code name. Suit is both ID, that is fine. You just need to change this, right? So what you can do is, you can see here there's no termux anywhere. You will not find termux word anywhere. Just here will be termux, right? So you can just using set command, you can just change this termux to the distro name. So simply I'm going to change this sed I s and termux to what you want to change here. Also here we will use double quote. Why double quote? Because we are using a variable inside that, and we know that single quote removes the value of variable, means it just remove the function of dollar, right? Dollar will be simply printed. So we are using here double quotes. Okay, and inside that we'll provide here distro. Okay, and then here g, and then here we are going to give the path, that is output, actually output, because in the output only we have that dist, and inside dist we will have the code name. If you see here, let me go back back here. If I do tree uh, this, then you can see inside this is the output, this is output, and inside that output we have dist, and inside dist we have this code name, and in this code name folder only we have this code name is this only, right? My code name is this for this project. So suppose user will have some code name, and inside that he will have, he will have this release file, release, right? So we have provided the path to the release file. This will we change it. The termux will be changed to this distro. Okay. So fine. We have done till here. Let's save it. Okay. We have to do something like here we have to do use this curly braces, and then this was fine. Here we have to use release. Fine. So we did till here. If I open it again, yeah, we have did till here. Now what we have to do is we have to sign this release, right? We have to sign this release file. So for that we have to use gpg clear sign, and then the same path we have to provide. Also first we have to enter into that cd. Let's enter into that cd output, dist. Inside dist, we are going to enter inside this code name. Inside here we have to run, that is uh, gpg clear, sorry, clear sign and then release. Okay, so it will create a file. You can see here, if I go to BHUTUU by T, then if I do here gpg clear sign release, then you can see here it asks for the password first. Then at this moment user have to give the password. Okay, and then it will create an a release.asc file. So we have to move this mv v rel release.asc file to release.asc file to end release. We will just rename this only, right, as this. So you can avoid this using minus v, can avoid this, no problem. Also, we have to create an hash also. We have to create an hash also. You can see here a release.hash is there. So how we created this? We created this using SHA 256 sum. SHA 256 sum. Just copy this. Okay, and then paste it. Just create this hash. Okay, so our repository is signed and release is created, and this is done now. Now you just have to run this and everything is done. Now, let me go into this. You don't need to delete this, okay? You just keep this, okay? No problem. Update will be here only. Update will be pushed here in the dist. And all the changes will be in the dist only. These all things will not be deleted. So if I run, let me remove this all dev files first. Then let's run our code bash, and then instead of this, let me use termux only because we are making code to termux, right? So if I do enter, you can see everything is happening. Just wait for that. It's creating dev files. So here it's writing clear sign is failed because no such file or folder is there. hutubyte.repo dest hutubyte, no such files or directory. It's saying there's no such file or folder is there. Okay, but it's actually there. We know it's actually there. That is fine. Dist is fine. Hutubyte, BHUTUU, Hutubyte. It's fine. Still it's saying. I don't know why. Let's okay, this is also generated. If I do cat, nothing is here. Let's remove it. Okay, let's go into that. Dist. If I come here, if I do cat and release, it's fine. Okay, let's do one thing for testing. Just remove rm dists. Okay, we just have did one mistake. We just have did one mistake that instead of this dist, we have to use dists. S was missing. RF. We remove this. And then in the build.sh, here we have to do dists, right? We have to use here dist here also. So this is fine. This all seems fine. Okay. Now just run this. Just wait for that. It will ask the password. So it didn't ask it the password because I have already entered the password one time, just a few minutes ago, if you remember. Now this is fine. If I go here and see everything is created. If I do release dot hash, it's created. Everything is done. If you do cat and release, you can see it is created. Fine. Just we have deleted this file and it's created. We have just deleted this dist file if you remember, and just we have created this again using our script. Okay, so our script is working fine. You just have to go into this folder, go to yt.repo, and just you have to do git add, means add it to your GitHub. Git add, git commit, any commit message. Just I'm putting testing only. Git push. You just have to push your changes. Everything will be done. Fine. So your app repository is updated now, and using this script build.sh, you can do all the things in just few seconds. You just have seen all the things that we would have to do one by one, and it would definitely take more than half an hour, right? But we just have that in few seconds only, depending upon the size of package. Okay, like we have this calculator and it's very small size. That's why it didn't took that much time. Just it's ran very fastly. So if I do apt update and upgrade, there any update on my repository? Let's see. You can see we have get request. You can see here we have get here, and update is here. You can see it's updated. Our packages are updated. You can see here updates are downloaded, and it's actually installed that calculator, updated that calculator, because we have updated that. Means it will automatically update this package in user system. It will automatically update this package, all the packages that they have installed if you have made any update, right? So if I do apt show uh, calculator module, so you can see this is our package that we hosted. Okay, in the next video we will create an script to install our repository in user's computer. Like how can they install, like if they don't know about apt repository, how to install, configure it, and how will they install? They will just find your repository on GitHub, and if your repository contains a script, like I have add repo.sh in my script, and when you run that, actually my repository is installed in your system, so that you can install any of my packages just by using apt command. So we will do that in the next video. Okay, till then just do practice this only, because many things you may have learned by this. So hope you like this. Thank you.